Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday Eve. I can say that with confidence today. There's nothing weird going on with me electronically. I hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend. We have a lot to talk about, including Paul George says he's ready to step up into that number one spot. And I haven't seen it, but Chris is going to show us something that lets me know Giannis has no idea what the word disguise means. So I can't wait to see what that is. But before we do all that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And then on this Friday Eve, I'm your girl, Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all things social media at JRay the Fanatic. Chris hates when I do that.
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K. I ain't going to sit here and disrespect you Thursday. I'm going to let you live. I'm going to let you thrive. Go ahead, Thursday.
Oh, yeah, because it definitely got me on the karma last week. But that's okay. I feel confident. I done put out enough good karma in the world this week. The Thursday got to leave me alone. I feel okay about it.
All right.
I know, right? I'm definitely testing fate.
You tested for sure. Go ahead.
Oh, God, and I know it. That's why I'm laughing. Good but Thursday. Let's just go. Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday. All right, so look, let's just jump right into this first need-to-know news because I can't wait to hear what Chris and you guys in the chat have to think about it. I've been a really big critic of Paul George, but I actually am really loving him in this moment. The last time, I'm sure we all remember, the last time he was the number one guy truly was with the Pacers. And then obviously he wasn't the number one in OKC with Russ and Carmelo and company over there. So, and then he obviously wasn't the number one guy here with the Clippers until Kawhi went out. And since then, I feel like he's kind of stepped up. He was very instrumental. We finally gave him his nickname back of Playoff P. So I thought he stepped up really, really well. So I think in his mind, he understands that that's going to be his role, at least probably for the duration of the season. I know Kawhi could potentially come back earlier, but in my heart of hearts, I think he's going to be that number one guy for the duration of the season. But let me show you this first asset from Bleacher Report. Now, they reminded us that Paul George averaged 26.9 points per game, 9.6 rebounds, and 5.4 assists in last year's playoffs. And so then they have this quote where he says, "I think I proved it and showed it to myself during the playoffs." And that's Paul George on trying to have his most complete season after leading the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals without Kawhi, which is not a big deal because that was the first time the Clippers had done that ever. So we got to put some credit on his name for sure. And again, with being without Kawhi for however long, with him recovering from this ACL surgery that he just had, who knows how long it's going to be. But I want to show you what he said during Clippers media day because I think he's spot on with it. So take a listen.
Coming into this year, I saw what I needed to see, and I think this group proved what we can accomplish. Being down Kawhi, and so that was just enough. That was enough going into this summer, knowing what I need to bring, what I need to add, what I need to work on. And, I'm ready. I'm ready for the fight for this year. I've been in this position, so it gives me a level of comfort, being the number one guy to start. And I'm ready to lead.
So I like what he said. He's comfortable in that number one spot. I think that's what he wants to be. I think that's where he will thrive. We'll just have to see. But I'm confident that this is going to go really well for him, at least to start. We'll have to see, of course. But and look, like I said, I was one of those people that was slandering him. I did back away from that during the playoffs. I think he's ready for this, though. Chris, how do you feel about this, saying that he is comfortable going into that number one spot, and that's what he wants?
I love it. I'm a huge Paul George fan. I do co-sign a lot of not a lot, but some of the Lakers hate, and I understand why they were upset with him because of the whole he wanted to be a Laker and then said he always was a Clipper fan. Like, I got that. But after that, I thought that the Paul George disrespect and hate was just it was too much. It wasn't warranted, especially everything he went through physically getting to this point. I'm really happy for him. And like you said, he really turned it around last season, had damn near an MVP caliber type season last year with the way he was leading the charge when Kawhi was missing a lot of games and then eventually with Kawhi being out during the playoffs. So I'm excited. I want to see what he does. I think it's something that can be done. The Clippers, to me, still have a solid team. It's not quite like they were 2 years ago, in my opinion, but they're still a solid team, and I think it's going to be fun to see Paul George step into that role, especially now that he's a little bit older and wiser, so he can score a little bit more differently than just getting to the rim and dunking on folks. So I'm excited. I'm interested to see it.
Yeah, Gary Turbo in the chat says, I didn't slander him. I made fun of him. I'm like, I don't know what the difference is, but
what's the difference?
I'll let you rock with that. But is this one of those things where, I mean, Gary, I was like, oh, man.
That's so good. I didn't slander him. I just made fun of him.
There's no malice involved in me pointing and laughing at him. Come on. So do you think that, I totally 100% agree with you. I even had to walk it back with what he was doing. But do you think that this is one of those situations like, yeah, we saw you step into your own, but you didn't win? Do you think he has to win in order to truly get that credit?
I think that's the situation for a lot of these players that, want to talk a big game and believe that they are, who they say they are, but at the same time, he had a lot of setbacks. Like I can't hold that all against Paul George. The team was not healthy. I know that we use the excuse every time, like, well, don't use that excuse, but it really was a situation. Like when you're missing a big anchor on your team, like Kawhi Leonard, like Paul George did everything he could, and unfortunately, a lot of the other guys that were healthy, that were there, they fell off. They didn't really do too much, so it's hard for me to put that all on Paul George. So I say the same thing about like Kevin Durant over on his side. As much as I can't stand the Nets, I'm gonna be fair there, so I gotta be fair with Paul George. So to me, yes, winning is important, but there's only so much that one person can control when there's a lot of other things going on with the team, as far as injuries and other people just not showing up. So I can't put that all on him. It's like you mentioned, last year was a historic year for the Clippers to get as far as they did. So they did as much as they could have done with what they had. So I can't hate on that.
So if the Clippers look just overall much, much better as a team and they suddenly become this threat and we're all talking about them without Kawhi, does that mean that we're in a situation where Paul George and Kawhi don't really work that well together?
So I've always felt this way, and I'm a big fan of both players, but I never really saw the fit with the two of them. I felt like they played better. Doc Rivers started it, and then Ty Lue did it a little bit, but I thought they always played better when one was on and one was off. I always saw that when Kawhi was out there with some of those guys, they played a lot better, and vice versa with Paul George. So I have a lot of Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid vibes with this team, but just the opposite, because both of them want to be in the perimeter, and both of them are really good mid-range shooters. So in theory, it should work, but I just have yet to see it happen with them both on the court consistently enough. There's been a few times where they both had 30-point games together, and I mean very few times that it's happened together. So I don't know. It gives me Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown vibes, where I just don't know if the two of them can coexist. Both very good players, but I just don't know if they can coexist in that way. So I don't know if it's going to work with both of them back. So I want to see what happens with Paul George by himself.
I love me some Jason. I love.
No, I like them both. That's not shade. But you think that they're good together?
I think they can be. I right now I would have to say they're. Here's where I differ, and I don't disagree with anything that you just said. But I think that from a coaching standpoint, when you have two players like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, when you have Jalen and Jason, I think Tatum. It's a you can make it work, but it just might mean, okay, we don't spend a ton of time on the floor at the same time. Maybe our rotation is a little bit different. Maybe I don't know, but I feel like from a coaching standpoint, this could be fixed, especially in Boston, when you got two young guys who are very moldable right now. Maybe not so much with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, who their basketball identities are
in there. Yeah.
Established. So maybe that's a harder fix. But when you're talking about Boston and these are young guys who are thirsty and ready to get after it and ready to really make something with their careers, I think molding them into a situation that works for that team, where that team is really successful, that could work. I see what you're saying, though, because it is kind of half a dozen on one side, six on the other. And anytime you have that on the court, it's just like, okay, we got two of the same thing out here. So I get what you're saying.
Right.
But I think it would be easier for that to work in Boston than with the Clippers. And it's just because they're younger, to be honest.
Yeah, and there's, like you said, some more. But we'll see. Yeah, no, for sure. But but to your main point, yeah, I've never been crazy about the mesh of the two of them. I get it name wise, like that should work. But I don't know. I don't think it works when they're on the court together, because that's fine that you can do one on, one off. But then when it's closing, you need both of them on the court. And will that work every single time? And sometimes the Clippers, they were keeping teams in games where they should have been killing them a lot of the time. And that's just because it just didn't mesh. And it has nothing to do with them individually. It's just sometimes players just don't work well together, whether they like each other or not. It's just the way it works sometimes. So I don't know. I love both of them individually. I just don't know how I feel about them together. I've been saying this.
One last question before we go to our next topic. Do you feel like back in the day, everybody had a solid position? You knew what their positions were. They played their positions. Now, these positions kind of mesh. People kind of just, everything's all blended together. Do you think that's why we see these problems where you have different teams that have two guys that literally do the same thing, and they're having difficulty making that work? Do you think that's the reason for that?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think now, instead of looking at position, we're looking at skill set. Like, like I said, with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they're both guys that they're two-way players. They're both guys that are really good defenders and really good at scoring the ball and creating their own shot. So I look at it more like that, and they're around the same height too. So if you want to look at it position-wise, then it's like confusing who goes where, who's the two, who's the three, who's the three, who's the two, like whatever. Right. So yeah. I definitely believe, we do look at skill set a lot more than position in today's game, which is why, going back to the Sixers, I don't want to bring Ben back in this because I think we're going to have a whole Ben-less show, but I have to bring him into it. Ben Simmons might be the point guard or small forward in your eyes, and Joel Embiid's the center, but their skill set is the same thing. They both score in the paint. Yes, Joel Embiid can shoot, but they both get the brunt of their points in the paint. So I look at a lot of these players with the skill set, and that's why, sometimes I feel like the mesh just does not work with some of these combination of guys that we have on some of these teams.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Okay, so let's get on to our next need to know news. Because if you guys, again, we talked about the Lakers media day a little bit yesterday. I want to touch on something else that we kind of didn't talk about. But I just want to see how we feel that applies to other teams. So the Lakers, they all seem to understand their assignment. Again, if you didn't see the media day, go back and take a look at it. It was great because everybody knows their role. They know what it's supposed to be, and they're embracing it. And they're already doing this team building where they're uplifting each other, encouraging each other, speaking well about each other. But Anthony Davis is like, okay, that's great, and I appreciate it, but don't just constantly flatter me. I'm gonna need some, real talk in my life. And I respect that. So I'm gonna show you what his quote was really quickly. He says, I like teammates who are going to push me. Encouragement, I don't need encouragement. I want to be pushed. I want guys to tell me when I'm messing up. Me and Russ had numerous conversations in the first practice alone about things we can do together as a duo when we're both on the floor. That's what I want. I got numerous guys that always in my ear about things. So you can't ask for more as a player who wants to get better. So I absolutely love this mentality. I think this is one of those things, especially for AD. AD got that. I'll never forget when he was crying on the sideline with that championship, but now you got to get this other one. And I know you said it best. I don't want to keep bringing Ben into this because I know we got a whole thing. But players like Ben, for example, I don't know if he has the mindset where he could take constructive criticism that said, hey, I know you want to do this, but you're not doing this well. You need to do this. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this AD mindset of being open to hearing those kinds of criticism is something that someone like a Ben Simmons is missing?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's what a lot of these star players are missing. I love this. I love this quote because, to be completely honest, I never took AD to be that kind of guy. And that's not a slight. I just didn't, and it's not a bad thing. I just never did. So hearing this and seeing this, I love it because that's very true. When you're that good, like you can hear it so many damn times, and it's nice and everything. But then some people they stop there, like they stop at where they're at because they keep hearing like, yeah, Anthony Davis, a top 5 player. Anthony Davis, one of the best bigs. Anthony Davis, like all that stuff. So I love that kind of mindset where I love, and that's just with anything in the world. I love people that don't feel like they know everything, even if they just might, you know what I mean? So, yeah, when it comes to Ben Simmons, I really believe that is just something that he does not have. I mean, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but with these quotes that come from Joel Embiid and stuff like that, and it seems like he's taking them a lot more personally than I thought that he would have. That tells you everything you need to know about that. So he's probably just gonna stay where Ben Simmons is at right now. I mean, maybe he might eventually at some point shoot a jump shot here or there, but he's just gonna do it at his own pace, and he's not gonna really hear what anyone else is saying to him. So for Anthony Davis to say this, especially knowing who you have around you, the Carmelo Anthonys, Russell Westbrooks, LeBron James, like even Dwight Howard, like you have all these dudes around you that have been through it, and you want to take the criticism. You ain't going to fold when LeBron tells you, idiot, don't roll, pop out and shoot the ball. Like that's huge. That's gonna be huge for him in the long run. So I love this. I don't feel like enough of the young superstars in the league today feel this way. I think like it's like him, Devin Booker, and then I don't know, help me out with some other players. I don't know who else could take it.
Yeah, and see, and that's a great example, because Devin Booker, as amazing as he is, once he gets this vet in Chris Paul, he's even more amazing. And you know, some of that is just because he's soaking in that knowledge. This is the definition to me of don't believe your own hype. And I think that unfortunately when we talk about a lot of young players, they do believe that hype because they've been told in high school how great they were. They've been told out in college how great they were. All the hype was around him in the draft. And then now you go into a situation where there's people that have been doing it and have done it very, very well. Now you got to listen. But when you just haven't really had to do that, it's a struggle. So this is one of those, and this isn't just basketball, y'all. I work at the Long Beach Post, and
for sure.
This is across the board when you know how to do stuff, and you try to tell somebody, and they give you that look like girl, what? You know. I wonder if this, because I agree with you. The AD that we knew in New Orleans, if he would have said this, I would have said he's lying. I'm like, no, he don't mean that. He just saying
for
that.
For sure, yeah.
Telling the truth about this. Yeah. Is it because of the people that he's around that he's developed into this type of person?
I think playing 2 seasons with LeBron James got that into him, because I think, and back to Devin Booker, like we've heard the stories about some people just not taking the Chris Paul the best. Like they thought Chris Paul was too intense and stuff like that. And Devin Booker was the complete opposite. He said that Chris Paul made him a tougher player. And I feel like LeBron James is the same way. Don't ask why this is the guy that's in my mind. But Donnell Marshall, y'all remember him? Played for the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day. I'm sorry, he's the first one. I know he's the first one that came to my mind. But LeBron James was in his 3rd year in the league. And he's what, 21 years old? And Donnell Marshall on his way out on year 10, 11, 12, whatever the case may have been. And he got young LeBron James, passed him the ball and getting pissed off at the vet for not taking the open shot. And he said that that's just something a lot of people just can't handle. And that's a true leader. So if you're hearing that from 21-year-old LeBron James, imagine now LeBron James with all the championships and while all these other players are here. Like we see the nice, funny, happy LeBron James. But in these practices, I guarantee you, he's smacking these dudes upside the head. So I definitely believe that the last 2 years had a lot to do with Anthony Davis, growing up and toughening up as a player and wanting to be better. Especially when how could you not want to be better when you see LeBron James every single day, not taking these nights off and these days off and still working on the offseason, stuff like that. Like, and he's almost 40 damn years old. You know what I mean? So yeah, I fully believe that had a lot to do with LeBron James and now all the other vets that he got on his team with him.
Yeah, it's always confusing to me to hear all these young guys talk about, oh, I looked up to Kobe, I looked up to Kobe, but then they get on the floor and it's all about them. Like, did y'all not watch tape? Did y'all not see him walk up to Michael Jordan and him go, excuse me, sir, you know that move you did over there? How'd you do that? Show me that. Like, he just constantly was seeking knowledge and trying to get better. And then, he kind of, people say he hoarded that until the end of his career. He was not sharing them nuggets with nobody else until the end of his career. But LeBron is in that same point. Now LeBron's always been like that, though. LeBron's always tried to.
I was going to say.
So, I think it's a beautiful thing. AD, I'm proud of you. This is definitely growth. Like Chris and I said, there's no way. If you'd have said this in New Orleans, we'd have been like, who is his PR person telling him to lie like this? We are glad. I believe you now, and I'm happy to see your growth. But on that note, Chris, can you take us into the post up on this Thursday?
Yes, it is. On this Thursday, there it is. That's right. Post up on this fine, beautiful, elegant, sunny, nice weather Thursday. You hear me? I ain't attacking you Thursday. Don't come after me. If you want to shut down someone's internet, go get Jackie. Don't get me. Come on now. No, it's like, don't get any of us. We need our internet. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Post Up here on this fine Thursday. We can get through these. We don't have many today, but we do have good ones nonetheless. And we're starting off with the thumbnail, the title, and that is none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo. This one's not long, but it's just not smart either. I think he's trolling. I'm not taking him serious, but I thought it was still funny. That these players, when they go out in public, especially after we saw him trying to get headphones the other day, they try to hide themselves to a little bit. Well, this is the best Giannis came up with. I mean, it's a big mask, but this picture doesn't show you is the man is 7 feet tall and you're walking around in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So it's like, I'm pretty sure I have an idea of who the hell you are. But I think he's trolling, obviously, because he has the laughing emoji. He says nobody recognizes me. And some of the responses, well, a lot of responses were in Greek, so I couldn't even get some. But a lot of them were like, "You're 7 feet tall, idiot. They can see you." Da, da, da. But Jackie, I know you would see him, but you think that he actually is probably getting away with some of this if he goes to like the right neighborhood? I think he might.
I think he saw that interview with Jordan Clarkson and he was like, I'm just gonna put a mask and a hoodie on. I'm gonna be good, fam. He had his whole face down. She didn't know who he was. I'm good.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Man. I don't know. I just thought it was funny because I feel like he was trolling, and he was in a CVS, as you can see. But I don't know. After seeing that video of him in the mall and getting seen by everybody, it's just you're Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're just gonna stick out like a sore thumb. I guarantee you, the sweater had Nike on it. Like, come on, son. Come on.
I've been in LAX and I've seen somebody that's 7 foot and they have a hoodie on. And so for me, the second you're that tall and you have a hoodie on and glasses or something like that, I instantly think you're a basketball player. And I'm gonna follow you because I'm trying to figure out. You'd be better off just walking through like a normal person and I just be like,
through as yourself.
Because then you just kind of blend in. But the second you put that hoodie on and don't do this, this is the one giveaway, is when they kind of hunch over like you're trying to make yourself smaller. Oh no, sir, I'm following you because I know you somebody. You doing too much.
And they buried in their phone. Like they do whatever it takes. They ain't looking at nothing, but they just buried in the phone to make sure that nobody, like, I don't see any of you guys, so you guys don't see me. Nah. We get it. We see
like
it.
When you was a kid, think like still I'm invisible.
Right.
Like
Right. Mm-hmm. This was very common during the summer league. I've gone to last few summer leagues, and it's very common because it's Vegas, so these players just be free roaming. Like you be in whatever casino, and then just there's LaMelo Ball. Okay, like it's crazy. They're all over the place. So that's the common thing. They do the same thing. They got the sunglasses, got the hat, and they scream blank, but they pretend like they're looking at their phone. No, I see you. You ain't hiding from me. You 7 feet tall. Take this picture with me, damn it. Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm sure somebody's feeling that way.
Who did that last season?
He tried it.
His home screen and he pretended like he was scrolling, but the
camera was the iPad.
His iPad. If I scroll at your home screen, what are you scrolling?
That was the other part too. Yeah, you can't walk around with your phone out like that. Like, you got to make sure like you can only see the back. Like, I don't want to see what's going on. I don't know, but yeah, Giannis, I guarantee you he was caught. Unless he went to like a neighborhood where they don't watch no basketball, because that could be possible. But I'm sure Giannis was caught. Yeah, there's no way. No way. In Milwaukee, there's no way. No one's pointing you out. Anyways. Yeah, no way. But yeah, from Giannis, we go back to John Morant. We talked about John Morant earlier this week, this week or last week. Golly, I don't even remember. The days are all one. But we talked about John Morant believing that he is a top 5 point guard. And a lot of people thought that was crazy, thought it was stupid. We didn't think it was crazy or stupid. We just didn't agree. That's all it was. I mean, you're supposed to believe in yourself. But John Morant had some really, really dope words. Unfortunately, it was on Taylor Rooks. I'm not a Taylor Rooks fan. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. But nonetheless, John Morant himself, he dropped some dope truth bombs about health and just a crazy insight. I don't want to take it away from John Morant. So John Morant, speak your piece.
I don't know. I just felt like the bubble just wasn't me. Like, obviously, like I'm a homebody. Like, I like being home, but just being stuck in there and not being able to do nothing was kind of tough. Like, I was just overthinking a lot. Like, I was getting down. Like, but I don't tell nobody, none of that stuff. Like, anytime somebody asks me like, are you okay? I always say, I'm good, even if I'm not. Like, I'm just kind of used to, getting through stuff on my own. So it was definitely tough for me. So
yeah,
not saying I was ready to leave the bubble, but I was.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, everyone was. Everyone was ready to go. But I mean, is that difficult, like, to know that even if you're not okay, you're saying you are? And then it's like, okay, well, when you're not okay, what do you do? Who do you talk to? Like, what? It feels like
It's not. I feel like, the word now, people say it's toxic. I feel like it is, like, because it can go either way. Like, you probably can get through it or you can go down even more. Mm-hmm. I always say, like one of my favorite quotes was, you don't realize you're drowning when you're trying to be everyone else's anchor.
Yeah.
So like through the bubble, like I was, just thinking about that quote, like, sometimes you gotta, put yourself first, like your health, no matter what it is. Like I'm always making sure everybody else straight, but sometimes I gotta, worry about me. And normally that's the times, when I, be in a dark place, when I'm trying to make sure everybody else good and knowing I'm not good, and just be even more, harder. So
Yeah, that's one of the things I felt like they tried to do well in the bubble was, how when you would wake up, you'd have to do the questionnaire. And like the very last question they say is like, do you want to speak to a mental health professional today?
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a really nice thing that they did because it was hard for so many people. And when I've done interviews, I talked about it. I talked to Jimmy Butler about therapy. I just talked to Michael B. Jordan about therapy. And they've all said like, I have tried this and it has helped me. Michael B. said that he still does it. Is that something that you would try?
I think, eventually I would. Normally, like, I'm just so used to either getting through it myself or just talking to my fam, like, or like my, my close people. Like, I don't trust a lot of people, with certain stuff. So I feel like that's why I haven't yet. But I mean, right now, I feel like, my life is good. Like,
totally.
I'm happy. I'm enjoying it. Just gotta stay right there.
Yes. No, that's what I say. You always have a smile on your face.
Yeah.
You can cut it right there. Yeah. John Morant. And I thought that I just wish I could cut it. I wish I was able to cut it in between so you could just hear the jaw parts and but no, I thought that was really I'm sorry. I'm just not a fan. That's a story for another day. But yeah, no, I love that because especially for his age, 22, 23, 22 years old, regardless, 22, 23, 24, whatever his age is, to be that young and to be that aware and to open up and say something like that when you know there's going to be something that's on Bleacher Report. So people are going to see this. Like, that's huge, man. I know that, people are starting to, at least I feel like, and I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like people are starting to get desensitized by it because now you're hearing more players talk about it, so people are just saying like, okay, it's an excuse or it's not real. No, I think it's very real. I remember I felt very similar to that when I was that age because I felt like, just family issues and it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna get too into it, but there's a lot of things that I want this person to be happy, I want that person to be happy, but then you never think about yourself being happy. So for him to understand that and to put that out there at that age so other people can, know that you're feeling that way and it's okay to feel that way, but it's also okay to talk to somebody is huge. So anytime any of these players, especially people of celebrity, we're just in a world where people just they just believe or they go by anything their favorite athlete or their favorite actor says, for them to use their platform and say something, especially something when it comes to mental health, because I feel like in today's day and age with social media, a lot of kids, they like to hide behind memes, to hide behind laughing through their pain instead of talking about it. I'm a huge fan of it. So for John Morant to say that, I thought it was cool. We've heard a lot of stories about the bubble, but yeah, Jackie, hearing John say that and being so young and just being so truthful and being so open about it, how'd that make you feel?
I mean, when he said, I don't want to say that I was ready to leave the bubble, but I was ready to leave the bubble, I was like, facts. I felt that because you could just see it not only on his face, but it was a struggle. I remember when Dame left, it wasn't 24 hours. And Dame doesn't post a lot on his social media, you know what I mean? But it wasn't even 24 hours later that all of a sudden we got about 5 pictures of him with him and his little one. You know what I mean? Just smiling ear to ear and just looking happy. But because you could see on his face that that's what he needed. He needed to get that release. And I think unfortunately sometimes you get in that because I am in the process of trying to find a therapist. And let me tell you, that's a whole nother struggle. For number one, realizing you need therapy. And then when I'm doing these consultations and when people are talking to me and I'm like, you asking me questions that I already know the answers to. Like, what's your job exactly?
That's the other part, right? That's so true, though. That's so true. You can't just talk to anyone. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
You have to. So if you are considering therapy, I would highly recommend you just do consultations until you find something. I haven't found that yet, so I don't know what that feels like when you find somebody that's like, okay, I know when I feel this type of way. Because for me, I know a lot of athletes must go through this. From the outside looking in, your life is amazing. You're doing amazing things. You get to play the game you love and make a ton of money doing it. You understand? So then when you try to, right. So, and it's like people don't get it. Even like when I was trying to talk to a couple of my friends about it, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm finally a full-time journalist. I'm loving my job. I'm doing, and every other day I'm getting calls to do other stuff. Like I'm on my road now. But, you know, and then when I tell them, oh yeah, but I'm dealing with this with my family and you know, where it's all like, girl, I wish I had blah, 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 because they're not where you are. So in their mind, where you are, you should be fine. Right. So it's so for him to own that and understand, and he said it perfectly. He's like, I would want to be open to therapy, but you know, right now I don't know. That's a fair statement as well, because finding a therapist isn't just going through Google and saying, oh, this one will be great. That's not how it goes. That's also a form of stress for me right now because I can't find one. So it's a whole process, but I respect him being so open about it because he is young. And
No, I completely agree. And you brought up a great point like that. That's the other reason why, like, I remember before, like, I never wanted to do therapy because one of my big pet peeves is 21 questions about myself. Like, I don't mind answering questions about things like we're talking about basketball, so like I don't mind that. But I hate the like, so are you feeling today? Did you do this, that, and that? I don't like. Maybe I just don't like talking about myself. Maybe that's just what it is. But I just don't like answering the questions. So then I get annoyed, and then I get more shut down. So then so I understand that mindset for some people where they're just not ready to talk to someone because they know that they have to talk about themselves, and that's just not what they feel like doing. They want to get it out, but they don't want to talk about themselves. And I know I definitely fall into that category. So yeah, I think you bring a very good point that it's not, you know, you don't just sign up, go to it, and it's just gonna be that easy. You definitely, you know, gotta put some work in and do it, but definitely it's worth it for sure. So yeah, shout out to John Morant. Love that. Gotta give some attention to that. I thought that was really cool. I'm glad we were able to talk about that. It was a good, nice little moment. So from that dope piece to something that's really got a lot of people, a lot of fans frustrated. I feel like a lot more fans were frustrated than happy about this. And I'm curious to hear what Jack has to say about it. But basically, the NBA, they just laying down the law and just putting it out there that, yo, if you unvaxxed and you missing games, we ain't paying you for those games that you miss. I think that was to be expected, to be completely honest with you. It became official yesterday when this report came out, if I can read it to the T, if it came out. Yeah, there it is. A Bleacher Report. NBA announces that players who do not comply with local vaccination mandates will not be paid for the games they've missed. A la Kyrie Irving, now Michael Porter Jr., all these players, and I'm sure more players on the list, Bradley Beal, so on and so forth. So, Jackie, do you think that this is a fair mandate for the NBA to not pay these players for, you know, deciding to stick with how they feel? Or do you think that this is just a little too far? Just give them the DNP, but still let them get paid. How do you feel about that?
I think this is 100% right. And I think that this is something that, you know, you should expect. And there's certain things on every job, you know, like I say it all the time. If you work in fast food and you show up without your little hat and your little uniform, you can't work and you're not going to get paid for that day.
Not going to get paid. Yep.
New information. This isn't something that's exclusive to the NBA. They're not saying, hey, we're going to boot you out the league if you're unvaccinated. They're simply saying there are places where you have to be vaccinated to play, and playing is your job. And if you are not going to, if you're not going to do what it takes to do your job, you're not going to get paid for that day. This is nothing different than what happened to you if you work at KFC. It is what it is. Own it and move on. If you feel that strong in your conviction, then missing that money shouldn't matter.
Yep. Places, they don't give you the job until you take a drug test. And if you want to sit there like, it's against my right to take a drug test, I'm not going to hand over my DNA to you. All right, cool. Well, then you ain't going to get the job and you ain't getting paid. So it's just like, you know, these jobs have these kind of stipulations to work. And I feel like it's the same thing within the NBA. So, I mean, a lot of us regular people who are not NBA players have to be vaccinated for their job, or else same thing. They're out of a job and they're not getting paid. But at least you're still in the job. You know what I mean? But I agree. I feel like it just makes sense. I understand people are like, oh, gosh, you're forcing them to do this and that. No, it's just, if you ain't going to play, why should I pay you? It's that simple. Millions and thousands, hundreds, like, no, I'm not going to pay you for not showing up. I'm sorry. Like, that has nothing to do with how you believe this and that and the third. You're not showing up, so I'm not paying you. Simple as that. You're not hurt. So I agree with it. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that 100%. And something else I agree with is LaMelo Ball. Ladies and gentlemen, this man LaMelo Ball. Now, mind you, I love LaMelo, and I want to give LaMelo Ball all the credit in the world. But a lot of this has to do with my man Jermaine Jackson. Jermaine Jackson has been one of the best mentors for LaMelo, like the best person that could have come into LaMelo Ball's life. He's definitely been pointing him in the right direction, helping him grow up. I'm sure a lot of it does come to LaMelo Ball making decisions, but Jermaine Jackson has been helping this kid make some amazing decisions, from almost buying his former team to be able to have a gateway for other high school players to, avoid having to go to college and getting paid and stuff like that. I know it didn't work out, but that was an idea from Jermaine to, renting and stuff. I'm sure a lot of it, like I said, is LaMelo and LeVar, but I feel like a lot of this is Jermaine. If you guys know Jermaine Jackson, I feel like this is a lot of Jermaine Jackson. Another situation is right here. He's starting up a whole 4-year scholarship. Of course, it's partnered with his agency, with Rock Nation, but I think this is dope. Bleacher Report reporting LaMelo Ball is starting a 4-year scholarship program. The scholarship will be awarded to a student in Long Island University's Rock Nation School of Music, Sports, and Entertainment who is pursuing a sports management or communication/marketing degree. I think that is dope. I mean, he's as per usual, using what he's getting and making sure that he's giving back. Might not be full school level, but this is definitely another step in that direction, in my opinion. I'm not saying he's going to build a school. I'm just saying it's very similar in that. I think that's dope. Like this kid's using his platform, using his clout, if you want to use that, for good. He's also told us that he's not really spending his money that he's getting from the league, and I love everything that this guy is doing. Like I said, I give a lot of the credit to LeVar Ball, Jermaine Jackson, his family, all that. But I think that this is also forming him to be just a very smart individual as his career goes on. I know we hear LaMelo talk and we see like just how he acts and stuff like that, and people think like, LaMelo's stupid. No, I think that this kid is genuinely a very smart kid that has a good head on his shoulders and is doing a good thing. So I love this. I'm all about it. Shout out to LaMelo Ball, Rookie of the Year, Jackie Ray, the actual Rookie of the Year, Jackie Ray, the Rookie of the Year, Jackie Ray. I just wanted to put that out. I just wanted to just make sure that you heard that. I just want to make sure you heard that last part. Cool. Okay. All right.
Camera off.
You saw Jackie's face? All right, cool. All right, so moving on to this next one. I don't know, Jack. I think we're lagging, so I don't know if we could try it, Jackie. We might be able to try this next one, but they did. The Warriors did a whole intuition challenge. I don't know if you saw this on TikTok, but it's basically when you have two friends next to each other, you guys both close your eyes. You have to predict that you guys are going to clap at the same exact time. If you do it, you pass the challenge. If you don't, then you don't. Well, Jordan Poole and Steph Curry, they decided to take on the challenge during their media day, and it came out good. I thought this was great. Well, up until they started to high five each other. It got really awkward real quick, but check out the video.
Oh my God.
Dope. Watch this. Watch this. I would have cut it right there. Still going. It's not. Yeah. There's a longer version, and they try to do high fives, and then one like goes for the high. The second part is like, nah, y'all intuition off. Nah, I don't care if y'all clapped at the same time. All that extra stuff, nah, y'all intuition off. So I would say I would try it with Jackie, but I know that the lag is gonna mess us up, so I'm not putting this on a meme. I'm not gonna let y'all do that to us because the connection will mess us up. We might be perfectly on time, but I guarantee you the connection will mess us up. So I ain't gonna try it. I'm not gonna give that to you guys. I'm not giving you guys that. It's not happening. Not going to happen. All right, so we're going. Jackie, you're gonna like this next one.
Arthur says, "Please do it. She needs to see it."
It's not, Arthur. It's not going. All right. Well, I'm gonna try and be late so I can be on time. Oh my God. So we have to close our eyes.
Do we have to? Okay. I feel like a complete fool, but
we're gonna mess this up. This is gonna be terrible. I can't believe they make it. All right, we have to close our eyes. We can't see each other.
Wait, how do we?
And we just have to believe.
Just gotta know when to go. We just gotta believe.
We can do a 3-2-1 in your head. If you do a 3-2-1 in your head, I'll do a 3-2-1. This is gonna be so bad.
Wait, when do we start the 3-2-1?
All right. Eyes open. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Ready? Okay. Now close your eyes. Now.
Oh, that's so. No, we was.
No, in mine it was on. In mine it was on. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. In mine, we clapped at the exact same time. But y'all, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be all over the place. See, I can't believe. I want a bonus for today. I want a bonus for my Thursday today. The chat gonna give it to us. Nah.
That was.
See, I'm looking at the. Yeah, man. I was looking at the playback and we had two completely different reactions. I was happy. You're like, oh no, hell, I messed up. Oh. Man, nah, whatever. Well, I dare y'all to try it and put that on y'all TikToks. I think it was funny, and yeah, no awkward high fives or handshakes after that for me and Jackie. So at least we won that side. So all right, I got some a crazy conspiracy. We haven't had a conspiracy on post, but I think at all this week. So it's about time we brought back the conspiracy. I'm gonna get tinfoil. I promise you, I'm gonna get tinfoil for the show. I promise y'all. But we have a conspiracy today, and its conspiracy is around none other than Aaron Rodgers and his possible next destination. I'm not talking about any places that you might think that needs a quarterback, like Houston. No. Jets. No. Miami. No. Pittsburgh. There's a conspiracy that Aaron Rodgers may be on his way to Pittsburgh. And here is why. He was on, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the kicker. Oh my gosh, my brain, whatever. He was on a podcast. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, chat. Help me out. He was on a podcast talking about basically just catching up and talking about how the season, talking about everything that is Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers situation. And then it was brought up to him about his infatuation with Pittsburgh, and I didn't know it ran this deep. Now I'm gonna let y'all sit through Aaron Rodgers sitting here talking as if he was already a Pittsburgh Steeler, and I want you guys to decide whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh or not. Here's the video.
Steelers defense is obviously one that is always going to be good. Your thoughts over the weekend of your starting preparation and, you know, just city of Pittsburgh as a whole. Do you have any feelings about that?
Yes, I've been around a lot of Pittsburgh people over the years. And
listen to him, Chad.
I've loved my time with all of them. I've learned to speak the language really well, which has actually allowed me to follow and become a big fan of Pittsburgh Dad. If you haven't seen that on Twitter, big shout out. Some incredible videos that for someone, if you whether you live in Pittsburgh, you live in Pennsylvania, you know somebody from Pittsburgh, you appreciate the videos so much because you know people who talk like that, who enunciate like that, and that was most of my career with Mike in the headset. Was trying to figure out what the hell he was saying.
Oh, it's going to dice right down her. That's awesome. I didn't even think about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, you cut right there. Yeah, the rest of it doesn't matter. So you talking about Mike McCarthy and his accent, blah blah blah. But yeah, he went into it was weird. Like it was just like drawn out, and he's just talking about Pittsburgh for a little too long. So people were looking at this with their little magnifying glasses, talking about, hold on, like Brandon right here saying confirm Rodgers to Pittsburgh next year, right? And then we got this next one over here saying, start the campaign now because it doesn't matter how we finish. Ben is 110% not coming back through that door next year, and he shouldn't because Ben looking like it's time for him to retire. And then this final one right here saying Aaron will look great in the black and gold. Now, do you think that? Wait, hold on. I just heard black and gold. That's is that word black and gold? I just really there's a whole song called Black and Yellow for a reason. We're black and gold. That threw my entire brain off. The Saints are black and gold. Black and gold, Super Bowl. That threw me off. Anyways, Jackie, Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, that completely threw me off. Do you think that there's legs to this one? And do you think he would fit in Pittsburgh? Or do you think we just reach in? But still, do you think he would fit in Pittsburgh?
I think this would be the dumbest thing ever, honestly. If you go from old and hard to tackle to old and you can get to him, he's definitely more efficient. He's definitely more precise. But when you're at the point that Big Ben is with his career, and even though we all love Aaron Rodgers still has more football behind him than he has in front of him. And when you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, your goal should be to be someone, get a quarterback in there that you can build around for a long time. Aaron Rodgers is not that guy. Not going to be Tom Brady where he's going to play till he's 60 and he's going to be efficient that whole time. We love Aaron Rodgers, but that's not who he is. There's only one Tom Brady. Let's just be clear. You don't go from old to old. That's not what you do. That would be the dumbest thing in the world for them to do. You need to build a team for the future, and you can't do that with somebody who's on their way out. So no, it'd be stupid.
I think Jackie, I'm gonna disagree. I think he would fit there because they got weapons now. They got Claypool, they got Juju, they got Ebron. They got weapons. So I feel like you bring in a quarterback that can use those weapons because that's the problem that Pittsburgh fans are having right now with Ben. He got all these weapons and he ain't using them because he taking too long to throw the damn ball. And we're seeing highlights of them being wide open and he's still not throwing them the damn ball. I get what you're saying because you're right, especially because you have that younger team. You bring in a younger quarterback. Right. You're right. But I know he's not Tom Brady, but I think that this could be Tom Brady. Yes, because he's still mobile at his age. I think Aaron Rodgers is still agile at his age. I think he would fit there pretty solid.
Deshaun Watson.
That would be phenomenal. Oh, I'll take Deshaun Watson for sure. Oh yeah, if that happens, we never heard anything about Pittsburgh going after Deshaun Watson. If that happened, then yes, take that. I'm sorry, I love you, Aaron Rodgers, but yeah.
That's because there's 22 allegations right now. Nobody's trying to really
right. So nobody trying to get
water right now.
I do like that though.
If it happened, I wouldn't be mad because obviously I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. I like him a lot. But for me, if it was my organization, I am very closely watching this Deshaun Watson situation. I'm not saying anything because I just want to see how it plays out. If and when his legal woes are behind him, first stop that I make, because he's young and talented, and I've got a young and talented guy. That makes more sense to me. If you just want to win right now, I get it. I definitely am. I get it. Win right now. Go ahead and get more Super Bowl rings. I get it because they have like 6 right now.
That's the Steelers, though. Steelers are known for having great quarterbacks. So I mean, that's why I just feel like it. But I like that though. I wasn't even thinking about it because I'm just here thinking like it's either gonna be Philly, Miami. So I just had him in a pigeonhole. But yeah, I think if they because if I'm the Steelers, because the Steelers are like I'm not saying that in the same way, but because of their historic value, they're like the Lakers in the sense where they just care about winning more and more championships. So I would trade away a bunch of firsts to go get Deshaun Watson because I don't care about the draft. I care about winning right now. So yeah, I definitely think that that's a very fair argument. But if that don't work, I'm paying that man Aaron Rodgers about 2 years to make sure that I can utilize what I got right now before everybody disperses and leaves. So yeah, I think either way. But that's the Deshaun Watson. You threw me for a loop. I wasn't ready for that. Very, very good point. You got me there. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, trade away everything for Deshaun Watson. All right, for sure. All right, last but not least, I got one of the dopest videos you're ever going to see on the internet right now. I'm not even going to intro it. I'm just going to say this. We need more Florida man reports like this one I'm about to show you guys right here. What are you doing when you see a cockroach on your kitchen floor? You jumping and screaming, or are you going to handle business? What are you doing if you in the bathroom you see a spider? You jumping and screaming, or you handling business? Better question, Florida people. What are you doing if you see an alligator in your front yard? You jumping and screaming, or you handling business in your slides? Check out my man right here. Look at this. Fair part's the way he like, let me know when his head in.
Right.
Watch it.
Let me know when the head going inside.
He's dead serious.
Somebody let me know when the head going inside. I got you,
Yeah, I got you, dog. I got you. Watch it. Yeah, with a stunner. Bop! Almost lost him. Got him. The man is a legend. Now, I don't know about y'all, but my first thought was, what the hell happened next? Like, did the poor trash man have to sit there and go, oh, God, the next day? Or, like, what did he do? Well, I found the video of what happened next with the alligator, and it was kind of funny for many reasons. We'll talk about it after I show you the follow-up. Here's the follow-up video.
Aww.
But what? But remember, those trash bins ain't cheap, so you gotta make sure you get his damn bin back. I guess like, man, I've been through a lot, bro. Today has been a crazy day. This is a crazy ass day, man.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Successful Florida man story. They're there, people. There are successful Florida man stories, and we just witnessed one right there. The alligator got away scot-free. My man got his trash can back. The man did it on slides in a do-rag. This dude is a GOAT. 100%. I got nothing else to add. But I'll tell you what, Jackie Ray. Go ahead.
When I saw this, I was just frozen. I was just like on my phone, like, oh no, because I've been to Florida twice in my life, and both times I saw an alligator, and they cool until they not. And the thing that people don't realize is they are fast. When they are like, okay, I'm done playing with you, and they start moving towards you, fear is gonna take over you. You probably gonna fall backwards in them slides, and then now you're in the crocodile roll. You know what I mean? Like now you're just dead.
Y'all tussling.
So it's just when he was doing that, I was like, yo, if this had been my man, he gonna have a really good rest of the week. Cause I was so attracted in that moment.
This dude ain't been it.
Like he fine and he out here handling alligator and the crocodile Dundee. Oh yeah, I'm a fan. I was a huge fan. And then for him to pull the alligators is heavy too, and did nobody come over and help
strong.
Pulled it up. Okay, baby.
In slides. Like he should have been sliding all over the place. Nah, he was firm. He must have had those triple B's on up.
Baby.
Anyways, yeah.
Big baller brand slides.
They go basketball shoe traction.
Right. Yeah. She said, I thought those trash bins were free. I know they're not, because my mom has literally gotten into arguments about the trash bins with her neighbors to the point where she put her name on her. Yes. And she was like, what? My trash bin? Like, it's been a thing. And I'm like, can't you just call the city for another one? She's like, no. I didn't know.
It's like $100, $200 or something like that for a whole new bin for them to deliver you one. It's crazy. Yeah, man.
Well, it's $250 in Denver. I don't know. It's probably stupid money out here. I don't know. It's $250 in Denver.
$250 in Denver?
For the recycle one. The blue one is $250. See? I don't know. I don't know how much the regular trash one is.
That's what I'm talking about. That's money you don't need to be spending. But anyways, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, look, man, that is great. But that's something I am not gonna do. But Jackie Ray, can you tell us what we not gonna do on this fine Thursday?
Yes, let's get into this. What we not gonna do on this Thursday. Y'all know I wanted to say it, but I didn't. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it copacetic. I'm really happy. Usually most of my what we not gonna do, I be leaving when I log off, I have to take a deep breath because I'd be pissed off. But this one I'm really happy to do this because we kind of talked about it briefly with Ja Morant and mental health. And like Chris said, sometimes I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to dumb it down and how important it is. But with this particular situation, we're gonna circle back to Simone Biles, and she has a new article in the New York Magazine. And these are some things that we all knew took place, but I think sometimes we forget how long trauma can linger. Just because the situation is over in the media doesn't mean that it's over for that individual who went through it. So I'm so glad that Simone Biles came out and talked about this. And then body language, you guys, I want you to take a look at this picture because this picture to me just says so much. So this is Ali Raisman, and then of course Simone Biles, and then Michaela Mori and Maggie Nichols. Now this is they all have, if you notice, they all have the same stance. They all have the same look on their face. They're all holding their arm in some way. Maggie, who is the one on the end, she's staring off into the distance, looking like she's recalling something that happened to her when she was working with Larry Nassar. Now you guys know what happened with Larry Nassar and whatnot. So oh wait, did we not have the picture up? I was just looking at my notes. Maybe we didn't have the picture up. But so
it was up.
They all had to re-testify. And I think that's the part that really sucks. Because if you don't remember, Larry Nassar was charged in 2016 with federal child pornography offenses and sexual abuse offenses from when he was working in Michigan, and then of course with the Olympics. And so they had to not only go through that in 2016, they had to re-testify about that in 2021. And basically they just, and you know, obviously they just testified, I believe September 7th. So that was earlier this month. It might've been September 5th, something like that. But basically going into the Olympics, you know, because that testifying before Senate, that was already set before she went to the Olympics. It's something that I knew, but I have to be honest, didn't think about it. Because for me, okay, that's going to happen in September. You know, the Olympics is way earlier. One doesn't have to do with the other. But when you're preparing for the Olympics, and the only reason they had to testify before the FBI or about the FBI's handling of this situation is because he was allowed to get away with it for so long. They dismissed a lot of things. So now these young women have to go out there and do this testimony to make sure other young women don't go through this. But in order to give that testimony, you have to relive that situation, right? So And again, there were more than 200 women who gave impact statements. That was back in 2018. And so now we have to relive this again. It's just a lot. So I think thinking about all of that is kind of a mind trip, especially when you're about to go compete on a world stage. So she told New York Magazine, so I'm just going to put that next asset up that Leo had up there a second ago. And she said, you know, walking away was an act of self-reclamation. She told that's what she said before the Tokyo Games. So I'm just going to read some of her quotes. She said, I should have quit way before Tokyo. When Larry Nassar was in the media for 2 years, it was too much, but I was not going to let him take away something I've worked for since I was 6 years old. She said, if I still had my air awareness and I was just having a bad day, I would have continued, but it was more than that. She's like, so say you're 30 years old and you've had your perfect eyesight your whole life. And then one morning you wake up and you can't see anything, but people tell you, oh, go on about your daily job as if you still have eyesight. She's like, you can't explain that. And that's where I was. And then she gets deeper into, you know, some of her thoughts. So let me post this next tweet. And shouts out to the New York Magazine for really, obviously they still want you to go read this article. But for anyone that's kind of struggling with mental health, they kind of gave you the basis to know it's okay to say that you're not okay, even if the timing is inconvenient for other people. So New York Magazine said the trouble in Tokyo started after qualifiers. BILES fumbled event after event, and she and her coaches moved frantically to find fixes, but nothing worked. And then this was her quote. She says, I was physically capable. Every avenue we went down was like, Simone, chill, sit down. We're not doing it. And I've never expressed that. So in her mind, she knew she wasn't right, but she knew she was physically, like her body was okay. So she said, my perspective has never changed so quickly from wanting to be on a podium to wanting to be able to go home, be myself without any crutches. Shouts out. Again, this is such a beautiful thing that no matter what you're doing, and I think sometimes that's the disconnect, right? We see somebody who has this amazing talent, who's winning gold medal after gold medal, who's undoubtedly the GOAT, who literally has a life that most of us dream about. And we think that absolves her from any of the trauma that you and I might go through. Her trauma, I would argue, was worse. Most of us, thankfully, don't know what it's like to work with the person that you're depending on helping you elevate your career, and they're sexually abusing you or sexually abusing those around you. That's got to be a mind trip that I never want to know. And I don't wish that on anyone. So now you have to go through that fight. And then you got to go through another fight to make sure other girls don't have to go through that fight. So you've been in this mental battle since before 2016, but when the trial happened was 2016. So from 2016 to 2021, you've been in this mental battle and haven't taken any breaks. I thought this was so beautiful. So what I'm not going to do is I mean this sincerely, if you are going through something, it's okay to say, I need a break from everything. It's okay to turn off your phone, go in the house, turn off the lights, and just get a good cry out if you need to. But whatever you need to do for your mental health, it's okay for you to do it. Even if other people think what you're going through is not that big. It might not be that big to them, but it's big to you. So you need to take care of yourself. I'm so happy that the New York Magazine did this article, and I'm glad they put out these little tidbits of information. Obviously, you should definitely go read the entire article, but I'm glad they put out these tidbits of information to help everybody understand that it's okay to not be okay. I think this is a beautiful thing. Chris, what do you think?
I know it doesn't matter what others think, but I really hope that this is something that helps her get her feelings out and just be okay with how she's feeling. I just felt bad because of all the ridicule she was getting on top of everything, because people just saw it as her quitting. People saw it as her, walking away and stuff like that. But like you mentioned, like, she had every right to not show up and be an Olympian for the longest time because of everything she dealt with. And I love, so your quote, so what you said about her, the fact that she did not let that stop her from achieving her dream, So with these articles coming out, I really hope that puts her at peace, puts all of them at peace, that, their decision they made, regardless of what the outside opinion is, was the right one, because it was better for her psyche, for her, how she's feeling. I love this a lot. Yeah, shout out to New York Post. New York Post always, they more times than not, they normally get it. So this was dope. I really love this. This was really awesome.
I love it as well. So that's our time for today. Chris, you want to try that challenge one more time before we go?
Oh my, you just. All right, we can do it again. All right, I'm gonna do it early this time. Go ahead. All right, eyes closed.
Wait. We're gonna close our eyes on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So much closer.
Was that on time? I did it early. No. Chat, please say that was on time. Oh my God.